Hey guys, the Firebird is here. It's just me. My brother couldn't be here today because I replaced him with Trans Theories. He's my new brother. Say hello.
That's right. What's up, guys? Autobots, Decepticons, and everything in between to a collab video with Trans Theories and the one and only Fire Brothers. Thanks for having me.
Indeed. I was the one who arranged this meeting. I deserve all the credit. Now donate to my Patreon immediately. So in this video, we're gonna be talking about the many ways that the Decepticons, specifically Megatron, could have won in each one of these movies.
There's just like so many ways he could. It's insane.
Just wait until we get to the last night.
Oh boy, one simple answer.
So we're primarily going to be looking at the movies, so we're going to be ignoring the comics, novels, although we are going to be referencing them from time to time.
Yeah. So what we're classifying as a win is if Megatron is able to restore his home planet Cybertron in any way possible.
Exactly. This doesn't have to be Megatron winning by himself. It could be him using his minions, or it could be him using his minions in a way that guarantees him the win in the long run. It doesn't just have to be a Megatron win. Like any small action that leads to the events of the movie changing in a way that leads to Megatron winning works.
Indeed, like for example, if Starscream shot down Air Force One, or if Soundwave hacked the entire globe, any of his minions count as a win for Megs.
Exactly, he's the head honcho, the leader of the Decepticons, so a Decepticon win is a Megatron win.
Indeed.
We're also going to be talking about ways as to how Megatron could have won without using the film's MacGuffins.
Oh yeah, definitely. You'll enjoy. It's all these really creative ideas that we went through for like a few hours the night before. You're going to enjoy.
I came up with most of them.
Yes, you did.
We're going to start off with Transformers 2007. Now, for this one, it's pretty obvious. Just stick together. There's literally no reason for the Decepticons to split up. If they simply stay together, like attack the Autobots during the highway chase or during the fight in Mission City, I'm pretty sure they could win. I mean, Starscream was manhandling Ironhide and Ratchet on his own. I'm sure like it will be an almost instant win.
Easily. I mean,
you wanna chime in?
That was good. I was basically gonna. Well, I think you got the point covered. Or another way Megs could have won is if Sam actually listened to Optimus Prime's advice and put the cube in Prime's chest. While this defeats the purpose of the win condition, they still have one Allspark shard, because if you remember in Revenge of the Fallen, we learned that one of the shards somehow lands in Sam's jacket. Even though that's not shown in the first movie, it somehow ends there as a plot device, but we'll roll with it. And they would also need the Matrix of Leadership to activate the Star Harvester, which could supply enough Energon to be able to restore their home planet Cybertron, which with Optimus out of the picture, Megatron easily could have manhandled the rest of the Autobots.
Exactly. There are no Autobot reinforcements, no Autobot Human Alliance. It's an easy win. The fake squeaker's in my room right now. Let me get rid of him immediately.
Alright, so those are really the main ways Megatron could have won in the 07 film. But what ways could have Megatron won in Revenge of the Fallen? Let's find out. So, one of the ways that Megatron and Decepticons could have won in Revenge of the Fallen is if Soundwave could have spread fake news about the Autobots, or even crashed the stock market whatsoever, or caused a massive panic to almost bring human society down. Now, we know he can do this is because, as we remember in Revenge of the Fallen, he was able to use the broadcast of Fallen's message around the world that instilled fear for the humans to get Sam and put him up to the Decepticons. So what if he actually wanted to like take down human intelligence? Soundwave is easily capable of that because we see him hacking satellites and basically eavesdropping into government secrets. That's how he basically learns where Megatron is at. So I think it's entirely possible, or we think it's entirely possible, that Soundwave would be easily able to crash the stock market and basically cause mass panic where the military and the government's all concerned with him, letting Decepticons come in, swoop, and then just finish the job from there.
In case you don't believe us, Soundwave literally makes the American military go blind in Revenge of the Fallen. He's the sole reason why American reinforcements don't arrive in the desert battle early. And in Dark of the Moon, it was stated that he basically made Dylan's father a millionaire. So he can like really easily do this. There's nothing stopping him.
I guess he just didn't feel like it.
Yeah. Another way Megatron could have easily won is if he had just sent a couple of Decepticons to appropriate the action gun and keep Devastator alive, or even use it against the Autobots. If you think about it, Devastator is a perfect counter for Jetwing Optimus Prime. As soon as he starts flying, all the Devastator needs to do is suck, pause, Optimus Prime, and he just gets shredded. There, instant win. And I'm sure he could like body block all of Optimus Prime's shots while he's in his Jetfire power-up stage. It's an easy win, and the Star Harvester was just about to fire, so once that fires, it's game over. What's really funny about this, and me and Trans laugh about this, in the Revenge of the Fallen, their game, you actually have a mission as Decepticons where you go and destroy the action gun so it doesn't destroy the Star Harvester. Something that we never saw happen in the movie, and I like how the game even acknowledged this.
I mean, yeah, that's one way we could have kept Devastator alive and then have a true final battle. That would have been awesome, but, you know, missed opportunity.
What's funny is that the comic actually does have Devastator stay alive till the very end.
Oh, really?
It does, but I mean, he gets killed by the action gun at the last minute, and it's never used again.
Yeah, it just goes back into hiding. It could just shot down the Fallen from the pyramid.
But yeah, guys, those are all the ways Megatron could have won, specifically in Revenge of the Fallen. Now we're moving on to Dark of the Moon.
So, I guess the first way Megatron could have easily won is, well, very simple. Optimus Prime accepted Megatron's truce to rebuild Cybertron with no problems whatsoever. Granted, this was actually the original idea in the Dark of the Moon script, which you can see in the novel and to the comic to some extent, because you really do not know Megatron's fate. But, as of course, Michael Bay did not think that was cool, so he had Optimus basically murder Megatron with an axe when having one hand, and that scene, I hate it, because it was so set up that they could have a truce and then perfectly end the 3 films, but that's just me. But as you could see, Prime really had to accept his truce for that, and then Optimus would have been fine letting him just rebuild their home planet when the Autobots stay on Earth and Megatron takes his Decepticons to fix Cybertron.
What's really funny is that the whole thing that leads to Megatron's downfall is that he forgets how to shoot his gun. If you pay close attention, you can actually see him struggling to pull the trigger.
Oh yeah, I swear he did one shot when Optimus was charging at it, but then it had no effect on him, but I could be wrong.
Oh, that brain damage, man. That brain damage.
Oh yeah, he has to have his face shot off. He couldn't think in that moment.
Okay, now going back to Dark of the Moon. No, wait, we are in Dark of the Moon. Oh no, I messed that up.
Yeah, we're in Dark of the Moon.
Continuing on from the final battle, this one's very simple. Just let Sentinel kill Optimus Prime. Dylan activates the pillar without Sentinel Prime's help. So I'm pretty sure Megatron could just wait for Optimus to die, then swoop in, kill Sentinel. Or alternatively, if that's not how the pillar works, just let Sentinel and the Decepticons clear out all the Autobots and the humans. He swoops in at the end and kills Sentinel Prime while he's tired and weak. He wins either way, he just needs to be patient.
So in addition, I noticed slightly backtracking when Dylan activates the pillar. But I always found it funny how there's that line that Sentinel says that I'm the only one who can control it, and then yet you have Dylan slapping the pillar and it works just fine. So maybe Dylan can control it as well. Maybe he is Sentinel Prime. I don't know.
Or maybe Dylan is Sideways.
Oh my god.
The god of the Transformers himself.
Now moving on from Dark of the Moon, we're going to start moving on to Age of Extinction, where we have everybody's favorite Mark Wahlberg film. And let's look at the first thing. And the first way that Megatron, or who should we say, Galvatron could have won, is if he didn't act up during the highway fight. Basically, Joshua suspects nothing and doesn't believe that Wait, hold on. I need to read this first before I go on this tangent. So now moving on from Dark of the Moon, let's move on to everybody's favorite film, Transformers Age of Extinction. So for this one way that Megatron, or should we say Galvatron, could have won, is that if he listened to the human commands during the highway fight. Basically, he complies with Joshua's commands, and Joshua suspects nothing because he believes KSI is in control of Galvatron. This would basically lead to Joshua Joyce not believing in Cade when Cade says your prototype is infected. Joshua will believe he's in the right, basically ignores Cade, and goes along with the transaction with the seed.
Then all he needs to do is break out of base like he did in the actual film, go to Hong Kong, and set up the seed immediately. Because in the film, he managed to reach that place before the Autobots did. So, instant win. Now going back to the topic of Galvatron being as stupid as Megatron. Another way that baffles me to this day as to how Galvatron could have easily won in this film. Have Stinger fight Bumblebee like it was happening on the film, and then Galvatron fights Hound, and all he needs to do is send in a KSI drone, any KSI drone, to steal the seed. All that's stopping them is one shooty human. Or Galvatron kills Hound or beats him. He just needs to keep him entertained and he basically wins. Why Galvatron sat in the sidelines not doing anything that entire fight is beyond me.
Yeah, he was just standing there watching by. I mean, he was eating his popcorn, man. He was watching the movie.
They're ruining everything, even though he really didn't do anything.
Yeah, he did nothing. I don't understand. He literally just stood by and watched. He easily could have just killed Hound and like taken the seat right there, but nope, he didn't do it.
And yeah, those are all the ways he could have won in Age of Extinction. There's probably a few more, but these are the only ones that matter, and the ones that are hilarious. So now, we're moving on to the last hurrah for the Babers. The last
bad one.
night. Yes. And oh boy, do we have quite a few things to say about this, right, bro?
Oh, we do. Okay, so, first off, hear us out. The whole main thing of the last night was the Ignition Chamber and Quintessa. So, and the only reason the Autobots won was because they were able to reach the Ignition Chamber and basically pull the staff out. But what if the Decepticons actually kept the Ignition Chamber out of reach? I mean, there's parts of Cybertron that can, like, basically detach and lift up. So what if one of these parts was where the Ignition Chamber was, basically keeping it away from human reach? This would not allow the military to be able to shoot down those tactical nukes to bring that chamber down. This would in turn let Quintessa have the transfer, which I believe it was called in the movie, be able to suck the life out of Earth, or Unicron as it was called, and basically everybody on Earth dies because Earth is gone.
Yeah, and the humans play a huge role on the Autobots winning that fight. Without them, the Autobots are severely understaffed.
Definitely.
Oh, literally, because the chick can touch the staff.
Yeah, she's like the only one.
Yeah, it's an instant win. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
They just keep her away, or Megatron killed Vivian, like he should have been able to, but...
I just thought of something.
Oh, what?
Why did the Nemesis Prime kill her when he had the chance? He literally saw her hold the staff.
Okay, I think the only reason why was because, we don't know how much of Optimus was still controlling, but maybe Optimus was trying to hold back from killing her, but yeah, that's a solid point, because he could have just killed her right there and then, and boom, the end of the movie.
That's still stupid.
It's the last night, what do you expect?
We're keeping this in. Another way, which I just want to remind the audience, that this time around, Megatron has a whole planet. Why doesn't Megatron, well, I guess Quintessa, block out the sun using Cybertron? Even if she blocks out most of the light, I'm sure that would be enough to like mess with the Earth's environments. Humanity will literally starve or freeze to death, and then the Autobots are easy pickings. There's literally no reason to kill the humans early. Like, there's no set deadline. Quintessa could literally sit back and decide to destroy the Earth on a Tuesday as opposed to a Saturday. Yeah.
Hey, the girl was busy.
Yeah, she was having some like weird, like incestuous mommy issues with Nemesis Prime. That was so weird.
Yeah, that... Ugh. We don't talk about that. So here's another way that Megatron could have won, and so stupid. So as you remember, after the Nemesis Prime fight, Megatron and Nitro swoop down and basically knock Optimus and Bumblebee down from their feet. In the movie, Megatron steals the staff from Optimus. But why did Megatron not kill Optimus in that very moment? I mean, he literally could have. Optimus was on the ground, he grabbed him by the horn, he could have pulled out his sword, basically decapitated him or whatnot, and then boom, Prime's gone, and he's not there to kick Megatron out of the Ignition Chamber, which endedly ults his butt. And he also had Nitro there as well. I mean, Nitro basically hates the Autobots because of his lines that we see in the junkyard, which implies that he's kicked Autobot butt in prison, and he could easily kill Bumblebee as well. But in all honesty, just stupid that they didn't do it then, because they could have basically won the war at that point in time.
I feel like this Megatron still has brain damage.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he grew tusks.
Next up, and this one is similar to a certain purple giant from a certain, Marvelous franchise. If Megatron had killed Squeaks in the town fight, then there's no one to destroy the gun that was set in the Ignition Chamber. So the humans can't send in their nukes, or Optimus Prime and Dragonstorm can't even land on the battlefield. That gun is the only thing keeping the humans away from nuking that place, and same thing applies to Optimus and Dragonstorm. Squeaks is the rat that killed Thanos. Squeaks is the rat that caused Megatron the war.
No, literally. I mean, he had the chance to crush his head, and that would have basically ended the last night. Now Squeaks is actually important, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Oh, and for those of you wondering, but Squeaks showed him the Decepticon insignia. Do you think Megatron would care? He kills his own doctors, who are more valuable than a tiny soldier. He has even less reason to keep Squeaks alive.
No, it's true. I mean, he literally kills the doctors, or scalpel, or like, as a technical term, lensometer drones. The ones who are helping him repair his head, but yet he won't kill Squeaks. Here's another way that Megatron could have possibly won. So as we know, for some time, Quintessa had Nemesis Prime all chained up. And we know that Megatron knew this because he has a line saying he knew, basically telling Prime, you knew you couldn't stop him, or something along those lines, where he told Optimus that he wasn't stronger, and he was basically stronger because he could finish the job. Basically, Megatron has this pre-knowledge that he knew that Optimus was with Quintessa in Cybertron. So why did Megatron could have possibly flew up the Cybertron, since he knew it was coming, killed Nemesis Prime just to get back at Optimus for killing him when he spared his life, and basically when Optimus is out of the picture, as we've said before in the other example, when Optimus is gone, it's an easy win for the Decepticons.
Yeah, what's the difference between sending Nemesis Prime to get the stuff or sending Megatron to get the stuff? They're both basically on the same equal power level. If anything, Megatron will probably be even more effective, more loyal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's the one who wants to fix Cybertron. Optimus was there, he basically betrayed him, saying, you know what, we gotta save Earth. And then boom, led to the downfall.
Exactly. Alright, now we're on the miscellaneous tier of things. These are not really specific to any one movie. These are just like ways in which Megatron could have quote-unquote won in the long run. And by won, we mostly mean beating the Autobots and being able to do whatever thing with his MacGuffin of each respective movie that he wanted.
Yeah.
One way we thought, and it's so weird that this never got covered into movies, you need to remember that these aliens transform into vehicles. So don't you think that Megatron would use it to his advantage to create fear of cars and humans? Like, tell me, if your car had like a 10% chance of killing you being a giant robot, I'm sure like a decent chunk of the world will stop using cars, and this will create some kind of mass hysteria. Anything can be a transformer. Your car, your dog, your toaster, your laptop, anything can kill you. And we all know how humanity gets when there's a crisis. They're not exactly the most, rationable.
You're gonna buy up all the toilet paper again.
Oh, how you know about that?
Yes, I do.
Oh my god, wait, Soundwave buys all the toilet paper from Australia. Australia's in chaos.
It's in chaos. They don't have toilet paper. They have to resort to using hand towels. That's not fun.
Soundwave literally brings a continent to its knees by buying all the toilet paper. That is genius.
And technically he could do that.
He could.
Which makes me wonder why the Decepticons in the first movie did not buy the eBay glasses off of Sam, but that's for another time.
Besides that, this will also cause the humans to lose trust on the Autobots, because it would just create fear in general of Cybertronians, making the human Autobot alliance even more unstable, probably even making some of the events from Age of Extinction happen even earlier.
So moving on from that point, we also have another one revolving Soundwave. So we know that Soundwave can hack into the government and find all this stuff, basically tap into the stock market, make Dylan's dad rich and all that. But if Soundwave can do all this, couldn't he technically find a nuclear launch codes and start World War III by nuking the planet? I mean, he literally is able to do, basically hack into militaries already. Just think about it. He wants to basically get rid of all the people on Earth and then let the Decepticons have a clean sweep just after fending off the Autobots. And technically, the Autobots could technically get killed if they didn't know that the bombs were coming. Yes, it would have a few seconds, but since none of them could fly or get out the Exampium, they all blow up while the Decepticons could just somewhere be in space watching it all go down.
Soundwave is the most OP character in the movies, and it took us 5 movies to realize that.
Oh no, literally. I mean, he literally is.
And finally, our last point, and it's very simple, and this one doesn't involve Soundwave, so for those of you who are getting tired of that, don't worry. Why doesn't Megatron just use pretenders to infiltrate the government and turn humanity against the Autobots? Hell, this way you could just go and, I don't know, replace the president of Russia with a pretender and have him like launch the nuclear missiles towards America, causing World War III. Like, it's so simple. You just need to get a world leader, and that causes mass panic and chaos.
Easily. I mean, they made a pretender to seduce Sam. Why can't they make a pretender to seduce Congress? Come on.
Indeed. What's funny is that this even happens in one of the games. If I remember, in Revenge of the Fallen, there's a mission where you kidnap Theodore Galloway, and it's kind of implied that you brainwash him or replace him with a pretender. Still, it can be done. It's very easy to snatch a human, especially when you can disguise yourself as any vehicle in the world.
It makes me wonder why the Autobots did not turn into jets. So, last but not least, and we saved this one for last, not because we forgot about it, but actually because it's the best one of the whole thing. Think about this. As we know, Transformers can disguise themselves into anything, and they even can disguise themselves as other Transformers. Like, take example, Laserbeak was able to make himself look like Bumblebee. Yes, he was small and pink, but think about it like this. What if Megatron disguised himself as Optimus Prime and did basically rampaged an entire city, to make the public turn against the Autobot.
And before you say that this will be very unlikely, may I remind you, Bumblebee looked at Stinger, and then he changed himself to look like Stinger. And in Age of Extinction, Optimus Prime scanned a vehicle mode that had no flames on him, and he was able to get himself the flames back from his old vehicle mode. So this can in fact be done. And even if you don't agree with this specifically, they can scan any vehicle, and Bumblebee's Camaro is like recognizable by everyone by the point of Dark of the Moon. So all that like Barricade or anyone needs to do is disguise himself as Bumblebee's favorite vehicle mode, Optimus Prime's favorite vehicle mode. Just wear the Autobot insignia, go on a joyride like Grand Theft Auto style and run a couple of people over downtown wearing the Autobot insignia, and bam, the media turns against you. Easy win.
We will kill them all.
Literally.
Oh my god, that's I love that point so much.
Imagine like Megatron, Barricade, a bunch of other Decepticons disguised as the Autobots just going around town, like, you know, using the horns, blasting out like music, being like, peace was never an option, or like, freedom's the right of all sentient beings, just using a bunch of like Optimus Prime audio.
You know, I swear there was an episode in G1 where the Autobots disguise themselves to look like the Stunticons. So, I mean, they can do it in G1, and I know G1's not connected in here, but that could be an homage for this.
Yeah, I remember that episode. That actually happened.
And yeah, guys, that's basically all the points that me and Fire came up with on how Megatron and the Decepticons could have won. And don't forget to subscribe and get this video to over 1 million likes and views, because Fire is literally the best YouTube channel that is out there. This man posts more quality content than Trans Theories ever could. So better subscribe to this man. Alright, I read the whole thing. Can I get paid now, man?
As soon as Squeak starts laying golden eggs.
That's never.
Yeah. Anyways guys, before we go, shout out to our amazing patrons: TrueBlue712, Stage Productions, Stephanie Baller, Christopher Prime, Predaking Hunter Plays, Mario Gordon, Allspark Studios, Scrub Lordo, Epic Nin, and special thanks to our big bold patrons, Jordan the Great and X23, who donated a amount of money. I'll leave you guys to wonder how much they did. Thank you guys for your support, it's much appreciated. It helps me keep the channel running and feed Squeaker, and if you guys want to donate to our Patreon, link to it is going to be in the description down below and in the comments down below, along with the channels of my patrons, so you guys can go and check them out. I collab with some of them sometimes. Scrub Lord. And if you guys want me to shout you out, put a link to your channel, suggest your own videos, or collab with me in some of my videos or your videos, vice versa, doesn't matter. The link to our Patreon is going to be in the description down below and in the comments down below for you guys to check out if you're interested. But keep in mind that this is entirely optional. So yeah, thank you to my patrons for donating, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Stay safe, guys.